What's up, guys? Welcome to A Resellers Life. My name is Chris. Thank you so much for joining me. In today's episode, I'm going to go over a huge problem that I have in my store right now, and maybe you guys can help me solve it. And before we get too far into the video, please smash the like button and consider subscribing, because I'm going to give you guys 3 tips at least in every single video to help you make progress daily in your e-commerce store. Also got some new merch, which is pretty cool. I just like to remind people to make progress daily. All the stuff I come out with is going to really pound that concept into your brain. I want you to think about making progress in all areas of your life all day, and that's really going to help you guys get to the next level in life and e-commerce. So the big problem I'm having in my store right now, as you guys know, I am moving a lot of my acquisition into consignment. There's a lot of stuff out there for sale right now. A lot of brick and mortar places are going out of business, and a lot of people are being displaced. They're either moving out of more expensive areas in the cheaper areas, or they're losing their jobs, or they're going to where jobs are. So we're in this unique opportunity where a lot of stuff is going to move into the marketplaces. I want you guys to step it up right now. I know you can do it. It's going to take a little bit more planning and more work than you think to get a resale business off the ground, but you can totally do it as long as you focus on making progress daily instead of the money part. If you just make your store better every single day, after 3 months, you're going to be making significant income. So just stay patient. The problem I'm having right now with my consignment store is I can't pick a consignment software. Most of the consignment software that I'm finding is too complicated and is not doing what I wanted to do. What I wanted to do is exactly what Starbucks does. When you go and order a coffee, you order, a decaf macchiato with 3 pumps and extra whipped cream. And that goes onto the order deck where they make the drink. That also goes on your receipt, and that also goes on the actual drink when you get it. So it matches up. So when you get the drink, matches your receipt, matches the thing on the item. That's what I want. Somebody brings in this pair of LeBrons and they want to consign it to me. I'm like, great. We go over all of it, including the defects. This shoe has a defect. It doesn't have the original box, and it's been tried on. I'm gonna list this shoe as new with defects and say, this shoe has clearly been tried on, but there is no bottom wear and there's no original box. And let people know to the best of my ability what the condition is. But I want the person who's consigning with me to know what to expect when they actually get the money. And I want to deduct a certain amount for items that have defects. Perfect for me would be a brand new pair of shoes in retail condition that's never been tried on before. That's what I would consider brand new. And again, I'm still going to list new with defects or new without box in certain items, but I like to be as transparent as possible because I'm doing this for the long run and my reputation is really important. So the consignment software that I'm looking at is not that robust. I'm finding way better options in the food service industry. So I might actually modify one that I get from the restaurant industry to be my software. At the end of the month, I want to issue a payment to all the people who are consigning with me. Ideally, the first Friday of every single month, I send out a check to all the people who consign with me. Now, here's what's costing me a ton of money. I don't have this consignment software set up. So what's happening is I'm just buying every single piece of inventory that's coming in. And a few things have really surprised me. First off, how much stuff people have to sell and just how desperate they are to make extra money. I put out a small ad with my friends and got 67 pairs of shoes essentially in one weekend. And I said nothing under $50 including shipping that's coming in. So how does the consignment work for me? I deduct $10 for shipping. So if it's a $50 shoe, let's say for example, this pair of Huff high tops, really cool shoe, should sell for $50. I'm gonna deduct $10 for shipping, so that leaves us with $40. So I'm offering them 30% upfront, so $12 cash, or twice as much, 60%, $24 if they wait till after the item actually sells. Now, it doesn't actually cost me $10 to ship a pair of shoes, so I make a couple of bucks there. And it cost me about $5 to execute the sale. This is from the listing, photography, all that good stuff is about $5. So I'm not making too much money on $50 if they decide to do consignment, but I don't have to pay for the cost of goods sold. I'm just paying the $5 to execute the sale, and I'm making more than $5 on the sale, so I'm still doubling my money. And now best situation for me, I don't have to go hunting. I want the coolest stuff to come into my store automatically. I don't want to go hunting for it day by day by day. I want to create a system of inbound profit coming to me. So on this pair of shoes, I think it'll sell for more than 50, but let's just use 50 as an example. I thought, who is going to accept $12 for a brand new pair of shoes? Well, apparently everyone. When I told people, hey, I can either pay you cash right now or we can do consignment by the time these sell, my consignment software will be up and running. All of them said cash now is fine. So I essentially paid 800 bucks for shoes that I'm going to be selling for roughly 4 grand, roughly in that area. And this is, depending on condition, I took some severe action for items that were damaged. So I know a lot of companies like ThreadUp or Buffalo Exchange or Plato's Closet, they'll just straight up reject items that have an issue. A broken eyelet or missing an insole or whatever defect, they just say no, skip it, we don't want that stuff in our store. Guess what? I have an online store, and the cheaper an item is, the faster it sells. I don't mind defects, and I make sure to notate this one is missing a shoelace, it's got some damage. This person on this New Balance shoe, you can see towards the top left toe is a little bit of more wear than the right one. I'm happy to describe the item because I'm not the person that's doing it. I have a checklist that my grader will go over so they can accurately describe it, and then I make sure to take the best photos I can, free shipping, free returns, give customers as much confidence as they can to purchase my items. And that's the best that you can really do. And for me, I love selling items that are broken or damaged as long as I'm not the person actually describing it. There's going to be a certain return rate anyway. And for me, I find that when people get a great deal on a pair of shoes that's really expensive, even if there's a little bit of defect, they're going to make it work. And I'll give you an example of what happened. So I have some really cool shoes that came in, and some of them are size 10.5, and the person that consign them is size 12. That's why they took out the insole. So what I did was I said all shoes that are going to sell for less than $50 I'm going to reject, or I'll pay $5 for them if there's something wrong with it. And then over $100, the maximum I'll pay for a pair of shoes that's messed up is $40. And I have a few pairs here that are size 10.5 that if they were complete with the proper sole, I think they would sell for $100. But since they're not, I basically capped it at $40. So there's a pair of $180 shoes here that I paid $40 for, which I'm going to be fine on that pair of shoes, but there is a defect. So I want people to know there's a lot of money in broken, damaged, used goods, but you have to know what you're doing. That's why right now I'm just focusing on just selling shoes or replenishables. I like shoes. You guys know I always say I like shoes more than most people. I would say even an average pair of black and white Vans for me is way cooler than just the average person that you meet on the block. So unless you're an exceptional person, I would much rather hang out with a pair of shoes for the day because I just admire the craftsmanship and I'm really into it. So I recommend you start collecting something in your life, whether it be coins, whether it be currency, whether it be shoes, whether it be jewelry, watches, because as you get into it, your habit is going to get a little bit expensive. And what that does is it teaches you how to buy in bulk. You're going to buy 4 things at a time, keep one for yourself, flip the other 3. Now you just got your really cool toy for free. I recommend that you guys do that. A lot of resellers are just former collectors or people who are trying to grow their collection. You'll see all the time on ads, willing to trade. And so people they're not even looking at it from a monetary standpoint. They want to trade to improve their collection, and collectors end up having the most epic stuff. Those are the best estate sales to go to. People who collect things. People who collect things take really, really good care of their stuff. Here in California, if you have a collector car, even though these cars are sometimes $50,000, $60,000, $75,000, $100,000 cars, the insurance on them is often only $25 per month. Now you would think, why is it only $25 per month on such an expensive vehicle? And the reason is because people baby them. They take really good care of their most prized possessions that bring them nostalgia. Maybe you couldn't afford that car when you were 16 and this bully drove it around, and now you're successful and you want to flex that vehicle or remember whatever that situation is. So you're going to really take care of this possession. You don't see a lot of classic cars that are actually in wrecks. These are cars that people sometimes don't even drive. So I think it's important. Do a little collecting. And I got to shout out one of my mastermind members. I just had a call with her and she was feeling very lukewarm about reselling. And I feel like it's important that I give you guys some inspiration, some motivation, and some self-worth here. You've got to put yourself at a higher confidence level. Believe in yourself being able to do this. There's plenty of people who are going to tell you that you can't do this. Even me sometimes, I'm going to say reselling is not for everyone. But I know you can do it if you can focus on just little improvements every single day. You don't just become a collector or an expert in something overnight. It takes time. It takes a little bit of passion to understand the product. It doesn't necessarily take passion about the product. You may not care about shoes, but be really into the different features, the tongue, be able to talk about the reflective surfaces or how nice it is to touch an item. If you spend a couple of extra seconds letting your customer know that, they're gonna really trust you and maybe pay a couple of bucks more. I think that's really important. If you are in a niche where you really specialize, you can charge a couple bucks more and deliver the same product. That's really important because you need that margin. It's about to get scary here. There are people who are investing like crazy into this business. Just shout out to another person in my group who went from 0 to 3,500 listings in November from scratch. She just clawed her way from nothing to a gigantic store in just a few months by just focusing on learning liquidation in a specific niche. Now, how does that work? You go on to Google, type in wholesale shoes, start looking for who is selling them. Of course it's competitive, and if you are dealing in lot sizes under $20,000, it's gonna be really not the easiest way to make profit because you're just buying the crumbs of large liquidation deals. Don't get discouraged, don't get motivated or demotivated. And this is what I see from people who, if you look at an Olympic athlete, do you get depressed that you can't do that when it took 10, 15, 20 years of practice for that person to get there? I don't. I get inspired. I'm like, wow, kudos to this person for putting in the work for 20 years to get to this amazing level. They're just regular people like us, except for they do the same thing over and over again. Repetition is what will give you the confidence you need to do this. If you just sell things over and over again, you put in the effort over time to get better and better. It's going to get easier. It's going to bring you more joy. And I want you to think about one more thing, which is change your identity. You're not a reseller anymore. You are an online store owner. So people are going to ask you 2 questions when you tell them that. Hi, I'm an online store owner. And they're like, hey, Chris, what do you do? Oh, I own an online store. First question, what do you sell? Right? So it's nice to actually care about it. And I'll be like, you know what? I sell mainly shoes on consignment. I really like shoes. I know a lot about them. I have a fantastic weekly lineup of shoes that I wear every week. Love them. Next question. How's it going for you? Especially in the Bay Area. I just moved from New York City to California. If you're not making bank, people kind of don't respect you. It's part of your identity in a Bay Area or a big city to make money. So it's important to at least have the potential to do it. No one looks down on someone who's starting their own hustle. You know what? I'm starting an online store. I'm pretty excited about it. It allows me to work my life on my schedule, doing something that I care about. Brilliant. Even if you're day 1 out of 10,000 days to reach your goal, people can admire you and appreciate where you're going. Okay, so it's important to recognize your identity is really important. It's going to give you the energy. Do not be lukewarm about this. Okay, it's going to eat you up, spit you out, and send you back to your 9 to 5 that you hate. You got to be fiery about this. This is going to take some time. So again, maybe pick up my reseller field guide with code YouTube in the description below for 35 bucks. That helps me continue to make videos for you guys. But again, be patient. Maybe pick up a t-shirt that says Make Progress Daily so that you guys can stay focused. Maybe schedule a consulting call with me and get your goals in gear. I can help you in an hour organize your thoughts on where you want to take this. It's pretty straightforward. It's 125 bucks for the consultation. And if you don't like it, I'll give you your money back. Very straightforward. I think I can help you guys isolate the specific goals and things that you need to do to get to the next level. Ultimately, I want everyone who's listening right now to have a store full of items that they enjoy selling. So for me, this shoe store is a hobby store. I like shoes. I don't mind being surrounded by shoes. In fact, the things that I don't like being surrounded by are clothing, right? So I am getting a ton of clothing from my friends, and I'm like, look, can I just have it? I really don't want to pay for it because it's not my favorite thing to sell. And some of them have said, no problem. So I'm gonna send them in to the person who's listing for me on my the clothing side of my store. She's an expert. She's passionate about clothing. Let her handle it. I'll just pay her to put that into my store. That's a great way to do it. She loves clothing more than most people. So again, look for those people who like certain things. You may like baskets more than people. Just think about it. People are just so exhausting sometimes, right? Isn't it nice? My photographer used to tell me, Chris, I love reselling because items do not talk back to you. When you work in customer service or at a real job, you have to deal with people. I love being your photographer because your items don't talk back to me. As long as I take pictures the way you want them to, I can come in, punch out, and not talk to anyone. That's how he would prefer to do it. So appreciate you guys. Like, comment, subscribe. See you guys on the next show. Take care.